Dudes to Dads, brought to you by Dad University, is a podcast to help men understand and navigate the transition of being a single dude into a family man. How do we make sense of it all? Well, we probably won't be able to, but let's go ahead and have some fun trying. And we are back.
We are back.
I'm Jason Kreidman.
I'm Alan Bush.
And this is Dudes to Dads, episode 200.
200. Congratulations, Jason. We made it here.
Congratulations to you.
Yeah.
We should just keep building each other up.
Yeah. You are amazing. You're
we
awesome.
thought about all these things, like what could we do for, episode 200? We're like, we should go out and, record remotely and all that. And we're like, what's the big deal? No,
we're going to do 200 more of them.
Well, so you know what? We had an idea in our last podcast and I liked it. And so that's what I wanted to do, which was kind of just go over, like, what did we learn in the first 200 episodes?
Yeah.
What are some key concepts that we learned and kind of highlight? So I guess, you can call it a highlight reel. Maybe somebody only needs to listen to this one. They don't need to listen to the other 199. But yeah, I just thought it would be fun to just kind of go over some of our most covered topics, the most important topics that we find, or sort of what stood out the most.
Yeah.
But before we do that, I wanted to kind of just touch on, for me personally, how the podcast and videos have affected me.
Yeah.
There is no question that over the last... Wow, what is it now? Over 200 episodes. I'm dividing by 3.5 years.
Something like that, yeah.
That it's affected me in a very positive way as a parent. Although you'd have to ask my kids.
Right.
As a husband,
you'd have
to ask my wife.
Yeah.
Or just me as a person overall. I would think that the people around me would say that, but it's really even how I feel. That the podcast and the videos and doing all these things has affected me so positively in many, many different ways. The first is just learning stuff.
Yeah.
Neither of us claimed to be experts at all these topics.
Right.
We're kind of saying, hey, we're interested in this and we're going to learn as we go. Granted, there are some topics where we might have a little bit more knowledge, or I have some experience that have done something, and then obviously then talking to people and doing this over and over and over again, you become a little more of an expert than the average. But the podcast, and then also I started doing the videos, they really forced me to learn new things. And, I set a goal that, hey, we're going to do one of these, a video and a podcast each week. And sticking with that has just forced me to learn and come up with topics and do things. So even if it's a topic that I'm familiar with, I've always learned something. I've always gone away from our discussions or the recording with some little bit of knowledge that I've been able to take into my life.
It's like a reflective thing.
Yeah. No, there's no question about it. And
catharsis.
And then on the other thing too, is just thanking everybody, for the support. We've had tremendous growth, both in the podcast and in the video.
Yeah.
Or the videos, I should say. And for 2019, I'm excited. It's going to be a good year.
Yeah.
I'm doing some things personally, shifting some things so that I can spend a little more time on this, and create more content and dedicate a little bit more time towards, Dudes to Dads and Dad University. And so that's exciting. That's exciting for me. And, just being able to apply a lot of this stuff in various aspects of my life has been great.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah.
What about for you, Alan? What do you think the first 200 episodes have done as far as impacting you?
It's crazy to say the first 200.
I know.
That's amazing. Well, having not have a child yet, a lot of things that I thought and maybe were worried about did come up on the show, even naturally. I didn't have to bring them up.
Right.
They just came up by virtue of you going, I remember when I felt this way, or when we had a guest that brought something up too, because we had plenty of awesome guests that talked about finances, that talked about working out, talked about different aspects of being a dad and being a parent in general. And so it helped me kind of alleviate some fears, I think, that I've had. I kind of thought that would be the case. I was hoping it would be the case.
Do you think it's made you, has it changed your drive to like want to be a father?
Yeah, on
or
some
changed
level.
it at all? I mean,
yeah, I think on
good
some
or
level.
bad, or
yeah,
more or
get
less.
the heck away from
Yeah,
this.
there's no way I want that.
200 episodes of that's all. No way. No, I think I'm actually better prepared, and I think as I listen to your wisdom and the wisdom of the people that are on the show, and just kind of understanding that, and having friends that are having kids too.
Yeah, you're getting older.
I'm getting older, so I'm knowing more dads that are just evolving just from my own friendship and network of friends. That it's really helped me kind of, like I said, going in. I was pretty apprehensive. Yeah.
Right.
Now I'm probably
I'll be the
more
dude.
like-
I'll stay the dude.
Yeah, I'm going to be the dumb and go out, and I like that disposable income part and the freedom I have. But there's now part of me that's like, it's like we said last episode, it's not all about me.
Right.
And I'm realizing that it's not all about me, and that I might want to, bring some other little person in my life that I can share my life
stuff like
with.
that too.
Yeah, exactly. A legacy, and train them to be just like me, because I also realized some part of me that is like, I'm way more self-centered than I thought I was, because I'm like, oh my God, I have this much time on my hands, and I do this, and we were just talking about like getting drinks the other day,
right?
And like for you, that's like a luxury. For me, it's like an everyday occurrence, and I'm like, man, I'm like, I didn't think about anybody else at all, and whether I'm dating someone or not, it's not the point. Is that I still have that freedom to be like, well, I'm just gonna go out, or I'm just gonna do this thing, or I'm just gonna.
You can't. You'll just piss off a bunch of people.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Right.
when you have
right.
spouse.
Exactly. Yeah, everything you can still do as a parent. It's just not really the right thing to do. But I think it was very helpful to hear the perspective of not just the common motifs, which we'll talk about in a second, but but just like the transition, like kind of what the show is really all about. It's like, hey, the reason why you bring up these things that you learned, especially like in our last episode,
right.
Is because previously why those things were a surprise to you. For example, just one episode ago.
Yeah.
It's that because when you were not a dad, those things either weren't a concern, they were completely changed your perception of things, and I
different
felt
expectations.
Different expectations, and I think that's my expectations have been altered by being a part of the show, and having basically 200 episodes of us talking about parenting, and me going, oh my God. I mean, even when we did segments, I'm learning also that this format's way easier to produce. I'm glad we pivoted that one, because it's a lot easier to just go for it.
Yeah, for people who haven't listened to some of the beginning episodes, we did like different segments.
We had a segment-based show at first,
and it was like 5 different segments of the show, all trying to tie them all together. And even the prep for the show was a nightmare.
This format's a lot easier and better, and I think it's a lot more conducive to.
Well, that's how we can keep doing it every week.
Exactly.
Otherwise, it'd be a little hard.
Yeah, exactly.
So I wanted to go over some of the topics that I think at least impacted me. If these resonate with you, Alan, please feel free to chime in if there's something that I'm missing. But so the first one is that soon to be dads or new dads are really scared.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that, and I don't say that in any sort of joking way, I'd say it in a good way, that's why we're here, and that there's a lot of need out there, because men are feeling that fear and feeling often that they're alone, and they're not.
Yeah.
And so I started getting a lot of comments with the YouTube videos.
Yeah.
And some of the ones I'm getting is like on the ones about fear, or, a lot of the comments are related, especially on YouTube, but to younger people who are having their first child, or they have a baby on the way. And there is a lot of fear because it's unknown. And that's what this is about. It's, the university, Dudes to Dads, it's all about learning what it's like, how to make your life, I don't say easier, but to really understand the stuff that's happening and that's going on, and how to make your life more rich. how to enrich in different ways. I mean, that's not just, I'm just saying money rich, but just the quality of your life and how you live it. And so that's really what this is about. And so just realizing, because I guess that's kind of why I started it, is because I really didn't know what to expect,
right,
and what was going to happen. And so, I had a lot of fears. And so it just, that resonated that, we're not alone. All these guys feel the same stuff, and that there is support. There's support, whether it's from us or from other resources. It's like, there is support out there.
Right.
So I think that's something for me that I learned a lot, over these last 3.5, years or so.
Yeah.
Another one is that dads care a lot. So one of the things that had always bothered me when I first started doing this was the stereotype of dads, and I think it's still out there a lot, and not to say that I don't think some of it is funny, because I do, but dads are often portrayed as goofy, can't do anything, sort of klutz. Like that's a lot of the things, whether it's like commercials or parodies or like
old TV shows.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the sitcoms and all that stuff. It's like, dad is, it's not a real positive thing all the time. I mean, what they'll do is they have all these like funny and stupid, whatever, and then he has like glimpses of genius.
Right.
And so like to try to make it that like in the end, yes, the wisdom of dad was important and all this stuff, but it's like on a day-to-day basis, that's not how I'm trying to live my life, and certainly not trying to convey that to the people who listen and watch and everything else. It's that, dads can care a heck of a lot about parenting, about, being involved in their families, and still be cool.
Yeah.
Maybe people might question my coolness, but
especially kids.
that I'm still a dude.
Yeah.
No, it's funny. I asked my kids that, and they're like, "No, you're really cool." I was like, "Oh, wow. Okay. Sweet. Well, then I have you brainwashed."
Could you record that, please?
Yeah. I have to brainwash. When you're 18, let me know. No, but just trying to change the narrative. I think that's maybe the word I was looking for. Is dads can be really into that. Into parenting and into making their families better and stuff. And they don't have to sacrifice a lot of stuff in order to do that. You can, whether it still be cool, you can still be successful in business, you can still be manly, you can still be, you can still have emotion, yet be strong, and all of these things. And it's like, there's no shame in that. That it is cool to want to change your kids' diapers versus that gentleman I told a story about that, he had 4 kids and was so proud that he had never changed any diapers.
Right.
I wouldn't be proud of that.
Right.
Great. I don't know what your relationship is with your kids now.
Right. Exactly.
He's a nice guy, but it's just, that kind of thing of just taking pride in not doing those kinds of things.
Sure.
So that I think is changing. The dads do care a lot, and I don't know that I knew how much they did care, and I've learned that quite a bit. Another one, it's okay to need help or ask for help.
Yeah.
And guys have a tough time admitting that they need help. Men in general, we think we should be able to handle everything. We think that we should just be able to, withstand really difficult things and get through it. And oftentimes on our own or without letting other people know or getting support. And it's BS. That's the truth. It's okay to need help. It's okay to ask for help, and you see these just horrible situations that when people don't do that, of what can happen, whether it's depression, it's, even worse, suicide or other things, and, or abuse, alcohol and drugs and sex and all these other addictions that can happen as a result of a man not being happy.
Yeah.
Or having some kind of difficulties and they can't share it, or they can't talk about it. So, just know that it is okay to ask for help. It's okay to need help. You are not weak. as a result of needing help. Vulnerability is cool and okay. In fact, oftentimes women will find that attractive as long as you're just not too vulnerable.
Right. Yeah.
There's always a line.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is something that it's really, I want people to understand that it is okay, and if you do need help, reach out to people and get support. It's, people are always willing to help. You've got to let them know.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And so many people, when they don't tell other people, people around them are just it sucks because you wish you would have known that they needed help.
Yeah.
And oftentimes you don't know.
Right.
So that's kind of that stuff. And then the other thing is, since I have got some topics. So the number one, the E word, empathy.
Yeah. That came up a lot.
I'll tell you what, it came up a lot. Probably 20 episodes we mentioned it.
Yeah.
It is the most important parenting skill I think I've learned. And actually probably one of the most important skills I think I've learned of just relationships in general and communicating with people and getting along with people. And for those just listening or just tuning in or not aware of it, I know, just tune in. I'm dating myself. But, this may be your first or second episode.
Right,
you haven't listened to us a lot.
Yeah.
Empathy is the ability or the action of putting yourself in somebody else's shoes. So it's seeing things from somebody else's perspective. And so what happens is, for me, understanding empathy has diffused a lot of arguments. I have been in so many situations now where, because I feel like my empathy muscle is really strong now. Like I've practiced it.
Yeah.
I believe it. I feel it. It's real. And I didn't have that before. I may have cared, but I really didn't practice, doing it.
Yeah.
And I have been in so many situations now where I either got yelled at. I mean, this could just be somewhere where you're like at a restaurant. I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, just, or in your personal life or whatever, where I've gotten yelled at or someone was angry or whatever, and realize, I mean, even just someone honking at you, or flipping you off on the road. Wow, that person is really upset.
Right.
Like, that had nothing to do with me.
Right.
That was, I mean, if you're getting that upset based on what I just said or did, there's something else going on.
Sure.
And when you start to realize that, how much benefit that comes or helps me, because it keeps me from going crazy. It keeps me from getting angry. It keeps me from getting upset at what somebody else does or says or whatever. I mean, just recently I had an issue with that. And I got off the phone with somebody and I was like, oh my gosh, I feel so bad for them, and they were yelling at me.
Right.
First, it wasn't maybe I said something that was like, could have been a little like negative about it or whatever the situation, but like it had nothing to do with me. Yeah. Now, the old Jason, before I learned about this and learned how to deal with it, I would have gone, are they kidding me? Yeah. How dare they talk to me like that? I would have gotten so upset at that situation.
Right.
Because taking it personally. And so it's been so valuable to be able to do that and realize it's not about me. Yeah. Sure, and that people are in these situations, and kind of imagining, wow, I can't imagine what it would be like to be in that situation. Mm-hmm. And when you can do that, I'm telling you, it's so powerful. I feel so lucky to have built that muscle, because it has made me calmer, more loving, more understanding. I mean, so many things. But just most of all for me, it's made it easier for me. Yeah. Like I just don't get mad at those things anymore. Yeah. I mean, there are a couple things. Someone's going to push the right button. Sure. It's going to happen.
Yeah. But it puts things in perspective.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you start thinking of it from somebody else's perspective. Yeah. So that's a big one. If you can learn anything or you get anything from this podcast or from our videos and from information, learn empathy. Yeah. And in the beginning, guess what? You may not even really feel it. You're going to be acting, and doesn't matter. Right. Act it out. pork chops and applesauce. I mean, like, you know, play the part, and eventually, I don't know if you know that reference, but from the Brady Bunch,
Yeah.
where the middle child like pretends to be Humphrey Bogart. He's trying to change his personality, and so he says, you know, pork chops and applesauce, and so he's trying to be something else, and it's like you just act it, and eventually it'll happen.
Right.
You know, it didn't with him, but. That's Peter Brady. Sorry. So that's a big one. Empathy. Another big one for me, gratitude wins. Mm-hmm. I literally think that gratitude is the cure for depression. Mm-hmm. It is impossible. I mean, if you're really depressed, that's, you know, there's a
clinical thing.
Yeah. I'm not a doctor. I don't want to hear the emails. I'm just saying, for, you know, when you get upset and you're down, let's call it being down, because you don't want to say like the clinical depression versus just the depression of being down.
Being down, yeah.
When you're grateful and you're expressing gratitude, you can't be depressed. Mm-hmm. You can't get down. It's like this impossible thing. It is the secret to happiness. And we did an episode of that. I did a video about that gratitude is so powerful. And so when you are down, when you start thinking about the things that you are grateful for and you start writing them down, we suggested doing a gratitude journal.
Yeah.
And so I know that when I get really down, and it happens, I start thinking about the things that I'm grateful for. And it can be little things. I mean, it's literally like, I woke up today with all my arms and legs, and I was able to breathe.
All of your arms.
All of them, all six.
Yeah.
And so I was able to, you know, I was breathing, or I had an amazing, workout today, or, you know, or I met somebody new, a friendly person, like whatever. When you start to focus on these things that are good, you start to focus on things that are good. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
When you focus on good, you focus on good.
You're right.
You know, but if you're going to focus on the bad things,
under redundancy, redundant.
Things are going to be bad. And so when you focus on these things start to be positive. And that's why you see, like, you know, people who are really positive, genuinely positive people, good things happen to them.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to go down the line of like The Secret and the universe and all that stuff.
Right.
But it is partly that. It's like, you know, people want to be around people that are happy and stuff. Mm-hmm. And so the way to do that is by being grateful.
Yeah.
Being grateful wins.
Yeah.
Another one, I put judging or being critical. Mm-hmm. And how much I think I learned over these episodes how detrimental that is. Mm-hmm. You know, and then the other part is, as you become happier with yourself, you start to be less judgmental and less critical of others.
Right.
So what I have seen is that I have become happier with myself. Mm-hmm. You know, my self-acceptance has gone up. You know, and even throughout this journey, where I've begun to, you know, accept the fact, you can't be perfect all the time. You can't be the perfect dad by being a perfect employee or perfect, you know, like all of those things. You can't do everything all the time. And I've realized that as I've become happier and my self-acceptance has gone up, you don't even really have the desire to be critical or judgmental. Like it just goes away. It kind of melts away. That from the idea of, you know, family members that you may have been critical with in the past, or you know, situations in which there's an opportunity to be critical or judgmental of somebody or something that they're doing. It's like it doesn't even enter your mind anymore.
Right.
You know, and even if it does, I've had so many situations where something will pop into my head and I say, oh, like that's not going to help.
Yeah.
You know? Whereas before I may have just blurted something out, or I'm talking to a buddy, or, you know, talking to another family member or whatever. And you're like, oh, this, I mean, can you believe that person? But you know, it's kind of gossipy or whatever else. And I remember in my old life, that's what I used to be. I have had more of that.
Yeah.
I can't say, you know, now never, but it's just, there's not a desire to do it.
Yeah.
And I mean, that comes with maturity too, I hope. But.
Yeah, I would think that on some level it comes with maturity, but I think
Not all the time.
The central theme, right? The central theme is that hopefully you learn from being mature or being outside of yourself and put yourself through your children's eyes. That you say, okay, I need to work on myself, and I don't want to pass this down to them. These, download them their pristine little hard drives and make sure that they want to make sure they're okay. So I have to be a better person, to make sure that they're okay.
Yeah, and I notice more when I am doing it. So like, if the kids' rooms are not clean, I'm saying, gosh, you guys you make such a mess. Like, I mean, that's being critical of them versus like, hey guys, what can we do to clean this up? It's like there's a positive way of saying the same thing, and not being negative. So even adding to that, judging, critical, and negative, it's probably all together. There's positive ways of saying the same thing, and being negative and judgmental and critical and all that, it doesn't change the behavior.
Right.
Like the desire is like you want something to change, whether it's behavior, the way that somebody's doing something or how they go about doing it or whatever. It's not going to change by being negative about it.
Right.
What's going to change is by being positive reinforcement.
For sure.
You don't say don't walk. You say don't run. You don't say
walk, run.
Yeah, you don't say don't run.
That's when they're being chased by a bear.
You say walk.
Right.
You tell them what to do instead of what not to do.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm tired.
I get it.
I'm getting old.
Yeah, it's 200 episodes. This takes a while.
That's. So that's another one. The other one, affection. Not that I didn't know that before, but relating to my kids. Seeing and feeling how important it is as a father to give my kids affection. That I can't leave that up to the wife and the mom to provide affection to our kids. And so that means hugs and kisses and cuddling together. And the affection, it is so powerful for them and for us. And I noticed that too when it's funny, when I feel a little down or I don't feel as good, I actually will like consciously be more affectionate with them. And I notice that it can immediately change my mood.
Yeah.
I'll come home and maybe I was in a bad mood that day or whatever, and I'll just give my kids a big hug and kiss or something. And all of a sudden, I feel better. It's just weird how that really can change how you feel. The cortisol and the whatever serotonin and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So the affection and just not realizing how important that is.
Yeah.
It's just
it's funny. It's just a little bit off topic, but people will describe the chemical reaction they have with yada yada blah blah blah, and I'm like, can it just feel good? Like you have to explain every synapse and
they're scientists.
Yeah, exactly. They explain the scientific reason why I'm feeling good. I'm like, I just do it because it feels good. I don't know. Right. I just want to. Yeah, it gets my cortisol level. I don't know what you're talking about. Don't worry about it.
The chemical change.
Yeah,
that's funny.
Makes me laugh.
Yeah, no, that's affection is just it's so important, and I don't think as men and as fathers we realize how important that is. So just want to reiterate that and how that's been an eye opener, for me. And it's not that I wasn't that affectionate, but I just realized the effect that it had on them and me.
Yeah.
In a positive way.
For sure.
The other one, no praise, no punishment. So this was something that I learned when I first started taking parenting classes because of the type of style that I was learning, and discipline and things like that. It really is different, and what I'm finding is how different it is than many of the people around me, of other parents and such. And so, with my kids not quote getting in trouble, but at the same time, I'm also not praising them either.
Right.
In other words, I'm not saying, oh my gosh, you're just, this is so amazing or whatever. Well, I shouldn't say that. I mean, we do say positive things towards
certain
them.
things where they do something spectacular or cool.
I should, instead of praise, sorry, I use the wrong word, not praise, reward.
Reward. Yeah.
Yeah. I use the wrong word. Praise is okay. I mean, saying somebody's good is okay. It was late, Yeah. Okay, that's what happens.
Right.
But rewards, oh, you got this grade, here's $20. Just that's not going to happen.
Right.
That grade was for you. That's great. I mean, you should be happy that you got that grade. That's, right. You did it.
Yeah.
Has nothing to do with me. I'm not going to say I'm proud of you. It's so funny because that one I come into contact with people all the time. I'm so proud of you. And they're like, well, you really don't. No, I don't say that.
Yeah.
It doesn't help the child at all.
Right.
It doesn't. Yeah. I'm telling you, you do not need to tell your child that you're so proud of them. In fact, not that you don't need to, don't say it. Say, you should be so proud of yourself. That's going to build up their self-esteem. That's going to let them know that they are the ones who accomplished whatever it is that they accomplished.
Right.
They don't need your affirmation.
Right.
When he or she is 16 years old, you want them to feel good about themselves, not look to you to feel good.
Right. Yeah.
I got a little bit of aggressive
I like
on
it.
that one.
Do it.
The rant. And you know what? I didn't put my phone rant in here.
Yeah, well, that's right. Yeah.
Or my electronics rant.
Yeah.
I've
the
calmed
common
down
motif with Jason is the electronics.
I still have it. I'm calmed down about it.
Right. Gotcha.
I just didn't want to ruffle any feathers. And then this was one of the last things that I had was life is short. I think I realize that as I get older, my parents, got older, and my father getting older.
Yeah.
My mom had passed away, and just realizing how short life actually is as things pass fast.
Yeah.
And nobody on their deathbed ever said I should have spent more time at the office.
Right.
So, I said I'm changing some things in my own life about professionally. I've got some other businesses and I'm kind of winding those down because I want to do more of this.
Yeah.
This is what's making me happy. This is what I'm getting enjoyment from and people benefit from. And so that's the other part of it, is to be able to do things that you want to do and dedicate more time to things that you enjoy. And not because they're more lucrative. It's because they're more fulfilling.
Yeah.
And that's something that I have learned as well, of how much I enjoy doing this. I mean, I always kind of knew I, wanted to do something.
Sure.
But as it grows, realizing, one, there's a great opportunity because people are wanting it. But two, how much I get from it. You know, people's feedback and emails and comments and, I get it. It's like, I'm sure a rock star on stage, it's like, it is intoxicating, to get to feel like you're impacting people in whatever way, whether you're teaching them, you're entertaining them, whatever it is. I mean, it's all a similar, serotonin, cortisol, whatever.
Serotonin,
it all feels really good. And I think the fact that people are responding positively to it, it just makes me want to do more.
Yeah. That's a really great point. I think, I like doing it for the same reasons. I think I like educating people and even if I'm being.
I thought you were spending your night here because you were making a ton of money off this.
Oh, well, you didn't know that. I am making a ton. But being a teacher, which I do make some money off,
right.
A college teacher, and I'm such a
very
sweet
rewarding.
Spot. It's a very rewarding thing where I'm like teaching people that want to learn, and I think you're in the same boat. It's like there's dads out there listening because they want to learn,
right?
And that's the reason why I started the meetup group, and this is the reason why it kind of evolved into the podcast. The reason why you're doing the dad videos, Dad University, on YouTube, by the way. Please go subscribe. And so I think there's a cathartic benefit to the world's already trying to tear you down in a lot of weird ways, and this is something that builds you up and makes you feel better about what you're doing as a person.
That's awesome.
What
would be great is for people who listen to us, send us an email, podcast@dudestodads.com, and let us know, out of all the episodes, what has been either a favorite episode or something that you got the most out of. What is it that you have learned from listening to these episodes? That would be really helpful, because I part of it is understanding what is making the most impact. You know,
Sure.
where are people listening? What's resonating? And that's really helpful for us because obviously we can give you more of that.
Yeah.
But if they have any other comments or feedback, Alan, what should they do?
They should email us, podcast@deucedads.com, or hit us up on social media, Twitter @deucedads, Facebook, deucedads.com, and please go to YouTube and subscribe there. Dad University has a lot of great videos by Jason on there. And if you do nothing else on anything you're listening us to, whatever device you're on or whatever podcatcher you're using, subscribe to those channels and leave some reviews. It's Apple Podcasts, it's Stitcher, wherever it is. So if you can find us on those channels and subscribe and leave some comments, it will really help perpetuate the show, and we'll do 200 more.
That's awesome. Alan, as always, thank you. Thank you for your dedication to 200 episodes. I mean, I know it's very lucrative for you, for both of us. We're just, we're
two mics, a laptop, and a device. We're
thinking of retiring on the beach with all of the revenue that we've generated from
Thinking is the key word.
Thinking, yeah. It's funny. Yeah. I thought of a thumbnail of like doing just that, like putting a laptop on the beach. We're really close.
We can literally do that.
No, I can walk right here. Down
we're not that far off, actually.
I don't get to see it very often. I probably should. I mean, I can look out my window and kind of see some stuff.
Yeah. By the way, for anyone who's curious, working at the beach isn't as cool as you would think it would be.
No.
There's a glare on the screen. There's beach sand everywhere. Like, I'd rather be in an office.
Yeah, I know. With access to go to the beach close by.
Right, exactly.
But ask me how many times I've been to the beach, and I've had my office here a couple of years. Not that many.
Right.
I think I've gone and sat near a bench to think or have lunch a couple of times.
Yeah.
But other than that,
I've worked near a beach, I worked remotely or whatever, and but at the beach, not necessary.
I know. Anyways, with that, Alan, thank you.
Thank you.
And we will see you next time for episode 201. See you next time.
See you next time.